Hello everyone, and welcome to the most nostalgic screen soccer video yet, the 1972 Whatney Cup. Looking back 20 years, history saw that Slade and Sweet were topping our pop charts and that the USA were finishing the ground war with Vietnam. Mark Spitz was winning 7 gold medals in the Munich Olympics, whilst locally Concorde was completing its second year of flight trials around the world, and Marcus Stewart wasn't yet to be born. Now for you younger viewers and those of you whose memories don't stretch back that far, let's look at how the competition evolved. Sponsored by the brewers Whatneys, famous for that quality bitter red barrel, the competition had real prestige added to it when the BBC announced their Match of the Day cameras would cover games from the early rounds. Rovers had qualified by scoring 75 goals in the old 3rd Division, and they were joined by Notts County, who had scored 74. In Division 1, Wolverhampton Wanderers and Sheffield United came into it. From Division 2, Burnley and Blackpool. And from the old 4th Division, Peterborough United and Lincoln City.
The Whatney Cup, 3rd year. The successful format is retained with 8 teams from the 4 divisions of the Football League having qualified by scoring goals, battling to succeed Derby County and Colchester United as holders of the trophy. No offside experiments this year, but a bit of Whatney history is made with the inclusion from the 3rd division of the oldest club in the world. Notts County, founded in 1862. County, who only just failed to gain promotion for the 2nd year running, are paired with Sheffield United, who after making the early pace have finished 10th in their first season back in the 1st division. For Tony Curry, just capped by England, it's to be quite a tournament. He's seen here with Alan Woodward, yet again United's top scorer. County's Les Brad had notched one more, 21 to Woodward's 20. As the 2 captains, Eddie Cahoon of United and Don Masson of County, meet with referee Reg Matthewson, the crowd in shirt sleeves on a summer afternoon are looking to Brad to shake up United's defence. With better luck, County could have had the start that they'd hoped for. They'd been beaten only 4 times in their 23 league matches in the previous season, and not surprisingly, it was they who carried the fight to the 1st division team, Sheffield United, wearing the stripes. First shot of the match comes from Cousins. He gets a second chance, but then is robbed. Even so, County keep up the pressure. Nixon on the right. And Curry back in his own defence. And the first time that Alan Woodward is seen, he's also in his own 18-yard area. Brad works an opening, and Cousins has a chance. But he couldn't get any power in the shot, and McAllister has no trouble. Young Ian Scanlon, just signed from East Stirling, is enjoying his first match in County's colours. And again, a chance falls. That miss by Nixon proved to be a turning point. A little over 20 minutes of the match gone, a free kick to Sheffield United. Tony Curry on the ball. Woodward's shot blocked. I doubt if those players were 10 yards, but the referee line play to go on. United still keeping a lot of players up around the edge of the 18-yard area. Salmons, Ted Hemsley there, number 3, square of him. Alan Woodward, and he's got a bit of space. He's going to have a crack. And a fine goal by Woodward. Roy Brown with no chance at all, and United go in front. Alan Woodward inevitably gets the goal. The shot from all of 25 yards, and really rather proving the point that United were beginning to get a grip of this match in the middle of the field, and you can't give Alan Woodward room like that. Nine minutes later, United are in command. A mistake from this clearance by David Needham, and in spite of the angle, Curry isn't wasting chances like that. So 2-0 to Sheffield United, and Roy Brown very disconsolate. Curry gets congratulations, but Needham knows that he really ought to have cleared the ball. 2-0 it remains as we go into the second half, with County looking for a quick break to get back into the match. Sheffield United again under a bit of pressure, but all the efforts of County simply go to confirm the impression that in young McAllister, 18 years old, United have found a more than useful goalkeeper. Jeff Salmon starting another Sheffield attack. And with Trevor Hockey, whose first game back since breaking a leg this is, increasing his pace in the middle of the field, United get better and better. And from this corner, they score the third and most spectacular goal. Cahoon's header, Curry's bicycle kick. You could argue that Cahoon didn't direct the header quite in the manner that he wanted, but you cannot question the brilliant individual play by Tony Curry, which gets good applause from the crowd. The only question remaining is whether United can add to their total, and they still look hungry for goals. Roy Brown clears his lines again. And when Reg Matheson, the referee, blows the final whistle, 3-0 it is. Any more goals would in fact have been rough on Notts County, who certainly carried the fight in the early stages, but in the end had to give best to a team rather more experienced than they were. The crowd rush onto the pitch, obviously having enjoyed this first match in the Whatney Cup on a delightful afternoon, and there can be no denying that Sheffield United deserve their place in the semi-finals. For Trevor Hockey in the beard running off, he knows he's played 90 minutes on the road back to fitness in football. With 82 goals to their credit, Peterborough United of the 4th Division are the top league scorers playing in the tournament. Their match with 2nd Division Blackpool is to ask the question, when is a goal not a goal? Blackpool qualified by scoring 70 goals in finishing 6th in the 2nd Division. Peterborough's new front line, Jimmy Hall, who scored 16 of that 82, and Ray Smith, signed from Wrexham, number 9 there. Alan Suddy, perhaps the most skillful player in the 2nd Division, who began his career with Newcastle United. They're just 3 of the personalities of a game which the crowd will enjoy on a sunny afternoon, which begins a little late, but which is to go on long after the final whistle. Peterborough United in the blue shirts, Blackpool in the tangerine shirts. And as in the first match, we see the underdogs carrying the fight for their more experienced opponents. First free kick of the game, though, goes to Blackpool. Alan Sadiq, understandably, is a marked man. But he's also prepared to come back and get the ball. The man given the job of marking him is Heath. But Peterborough a little bit lucky to escape one of his inspired moves. Hutchison is given offside. The referee, Mr. James, gives the free kick, and Blackpool's protests count for nothing. But soon Heath is to show what he can do in attack, and he produces the best save of the game from Burridge. This was a spectacular piece of work by the young Blackpool goalkeeper. The next escape, though, is to come at the other end, and once more, the verdict is offside. If you watch it closely as Alan Suddick sets up the move, it's certainly a very close thing. Mr. James looks immediately at his linesman, and in fact the whistle is gone before the cross is made. The Blackpool have put the ball in the net twice, but the score stays at 0-0. And with 66 minutes of the match gone, Heath goes off to be replaced by Mickey Darrell. It's to prove a very significant change, but not in the second half. The best chance of the half falls to Dennis Oakes of Peterborough. But as he shoots wide, the match moves inexorably to the first penalty competition of the 72 Whatney Cup. 5 penalties go to each side, and then, if necessary, on until one side leads with the same number of penalties taken. Blackpool go first with Alan Suddick. 1-0 to the 2nd Division side. Some of the players can't look. It's Duncliffe now for Peterborough. A miss, but he's going to be reprieved because the goalkeeper is adjudged to have moved. Duncliffe with his second try. One each. The goalkeeper nearly made it again, though. Dave Hatton for Blackpool. And Blackpool in front again. Robson now for Peterborough, with a chance to level it at 2 each. And a well-taken penalty indeed, which gave Burridge no chance. Burns now for Blackpool. 3-2. Now Oakes. 3-all as the substitute goalkeeper Wood goes the wrong way. Chris Simpkin. 4-3 to Blackpool. And next Heath for Peterborough. But he was substituted, and the rules say the players in the team at the end of the match, but his goal stands. 4-all. Blackpool's last of the 5. And the crowd think that it's all over because of that miss, but it's not. Park has still to try. With the crowd on the pitch, it's a test for young Bobby Park. And when his turn finally comes, the moment is too much for him. He shoots wide. On it goes to 6-all, and now Ainsco's turn, and he shoots wide. But the crowd know this time that Frank Noble has got the score for Peterborough to win the match. In he comes, and he misses as well. But the referee says that Wood moved, and so there's another chance for Noble and for Peterborough. A tense situation, and Noble scores 7-6 at last to Peterborough. The crowd come dashing onto the pitch, but it's to take a Sunday morning meeting of the League Management Committee before Peterborough, in spite of Blackpool's protest over Heath taking a penalty, are confirmed as winners. Heath was wrong, but the referee was right. They always are. The match at the Eastville Stadium brings a touch of final day, with the teams, Bristol Rovers and Wolves, coming out side by side. It's a rehearsal that won't be wasted. Wolves are the favourites to win the cup after finishing 9th in the First Division. And although they are without Derek Dugan, who's injured, they include their new signing from Burnley, Steve Kindon. There are no new faces in the Rovers lineup, but this is their first match under new manager John Megson, formerly the club coach, now successor to Bill Dodgen. And if they're to give him a bumper send-off, they're obviously going to have to keep tabs on David Wagstaff of Wolves, in many people's view, the best winger in the First Division. The top Rovers scorer from last season's league campaign is Bruce Bannister with 11 out of 75. Wolves in the old gold shirts defending the goal to our right, and it will be that goal that will first come under pressure. But when it comes, Phil Parks, the goalkeeper, catches cleanly and sends the First Division side away on attack. John Richards, number 9, one of the big successes of the England Under-23 tour, and he wins a corner given away by Parsons. Rick Shepherd organising his defence. And as the corner comes over, luck is to be with the goalkeeper, and it's luck that stays with him throughout the tournament. With 26 minutes gone, Bristol go in front. From the goalkeeper, the move builds up, with the ball finally reaching Kenny Stevens. Trying to go outside Munro, he's brought down, and John Howood, the referee, is in no doubt about the decision. A penalty. Bannister to take it. A nice change of feet, and the favourites are a goal down. Bruce Bannister, the top Rovers scorer, puts the Third Division side into the lead. The obvious delight of one or two supporters. And as soon as one comes, so come more. But after the goal, Wolves begin to show signs of their true form, and Rick Shepherd is the busier goalkeeper. A free kick, and a chance for Wolves to get back into the game. But it's headed away by Parsons. Bailey puts it back again, and there's a bit of a muddle in the defence, and again Parsons to the rescue, saving his own goalkeeper, Rick Shepherd. From the corner, a chance for Hegan, and a good save by Roberts and Shepherd combined. Sheffield always in the action at the moment. Kenny Stevens relieves the pressure. 1-0 at half-time, the crowd well satisfied. But for a while in the second half, the game becomes a little bit tight and somewhat ordinary. Phil Parks, the goalkeeper. Tempers too get a little bit edgy. Sandy Allen comes away for Bristol Rovers. Rather silly kicking incident is symptomatic of the feelings of the players at that time. And John Homewood has a word with John McCall and Sandy Allen. Good header out of defence, again by Wolves. From the next attack, there to concede a corner. Wayne Jones starts the move to Frankie Prince. Phil Parks covering the near post. And the corner finally comes over. It's headed away, but not for long. Roberts meets it, and Bristol Rovers are 2-up with the most spectacular goal of the afternoon seen at Eastfield Stadium. Sandy Allen congratulating the scorer, Brian Godfrey, number 11, the skipper, Frankie Prince, number 6, involved in the move. And with that 2-goal advantage, Rovers proceed to confirm that they're worth the margin. Wayne Jones, so often the instigator of attacks. And he it is who ends with the ball in his possession. Wolves were not at their best, but the crowd have had good reason to applaud the turn-up of the first round. Steve Kingdom, we saw there, hardly seen in the match. Phil Parks conceded 2 goals, and Brian Godfrey, running off, number 11, as delighted as the new manager, Don Megson. A 2-0 victory over Wolverhampton Wanderers and a place for Bristol Rovers in the last 4. Lincoln Cathedral, the 3rd largest in England and built originally in 1092, overlooks the venue of the remaining first-round match. The local club had failed narrowly to gain promotion to the 3rd division. 77 goals gave them a place in the Whatney Cup. Dixie McNeil, number 11, signed from Northampton, had scored 13 of that number in half a season. And now he was to test Burnley of the 2nd division. Seen in unfamiliar white shirts, and Paul Fletcher, number 9, one of the few players to be bought by the Burnley club. The crowd all set, and Burnley 7th in the 2nd division with 70 goals to their credit, attacking the goal to the left. The keenness shows right at the start for Lincoln as McGough comes back to find his own goalkeeper. The first threat of the match also comes to the 4th division side. It's Bradley's shot, and Waldron who gets back to save his own goalkeeper, Stevenson, who was beaten. The referee is the very experienced Norman Burtonshaw. Frank Casper for Burnley. He screws it wide, and Ingham can't get on the end of it. The crowd enjoying the goal-mouth action, but Burnley are beginning to settle down. Casper again for them. And then Leighton James, their young Welsh international. And a fine shot hits the post, with McNally beaten. Into the second half, and Lincoln still going well. George Pedden, number 2. Colin Sim with the cross, and it's Waldron's header that clears the danger. McMahon now, and knocked away by Nulty. The 4th division side certainly giving as good as they get, but now Casper for Burnley. Ingham just gets in as a Lincoln defender rather commits himself, and the ball again comes to Leighton James. Ingham. As Burnley increased the pressure, Casper with the goalkeeper beaten, but his shot hits the side netting. With all these chances going begging, a draw begins to look more and more likely. Colin Sim once more for Lincoln. And Waldron has to chase out with Percy Freeman. And as the centre-forward gets round him, Waldron has a tug at his shirt. The free kick is given, and a chance for the 4th Division side. Burnley pull everybody back. And Thompson just gets it away. Then it's Dobson who gets the corner out. And is hurt in the process. As Burnley build up on attack again, the match is to be decided by one mistake by George Petton. He loses the flight of the ball, and Leighton James nips in to score the only goal of the match. All the Burnley players rush to congratulate Leighton James, leaving George Petton a very lonely figure. Leighton James enjoying the congratulations, but he knows that the goal really was given away by one mistake in a tight match. Alan West, number 13, and Keith Newton, the former England World Cup player, congratulating the scorer. And that goal ensures that one representative from each division will take part in the semi-finals. Sheffield United, Burnley, Bristol Rovers and Peterborough. So to the semi-finals of the 1972 Whatney Cup. Burnley against Bristol Rovers. And here at the London Road ground, Peterborough United against Sheffield United of the 1st Division. Little ones in the crowd knew some giant kiddings in the past. But is this Peterborough side good enough to live up to those traditions? To beat the team that swept aside Notts County? Sheffield United are unchanged and have the pride of the 1st Division in their hands. 2-goal Tony Curry is an obvious threat, but it's not to be his night. Smith and Hall hold Peterborough's hopes, while Sheffield's key midfield man Trevor Hockey is much nearer now to peak fitness. FIFA referee Clive Thomas from the Ronda all ready to get us away, with Sheffield United in these striped shirts defending the goal to our right. Noble, Salmons, Trevor Hockey, Ted Hemsley. The first throw-in of the match right in front of the BBC cameras, to be taken by Salmons for Sheffield United. Eddie Cahoon, Hockey, Cahoon already prepared to come forward. Here's Curry, Robson who came back for Peterborough. Robson again on a good run, he's got two players inside him. This is Park on his wrong wing, players queuing up in the middle. And Mackenzie for Sheffield United. Lovely return ball. Cannister had come for it. And a fine shot just going over the top from John Heath. Beautiful attack that by Peterborough, particularly the back heel by Ray Smith. Scullion for Sheffield United. Being chased, he really hasn't got any help. He's going to have to go it alone. And a fine shot, beautifully saved by Michael Drury. Alan Woodward coming over to take the corner. Mackenzie and Cahoon both up in the 6-yard box. Here's Mackenzie, and that's the first goal of the match, scored by young Mackenzie after 17 minutes from the set piece. A good corner and a good flick on by Billy Dearden. So the 4th Division side now needing all the help they can get from their supporters. Reverse coming at a time when they had appeared to carry the fight towards Sheffield United. Now the 1st Division side with that goal could well settle down to play the sort of football we know they're capable of. Curry out on the far side. The referee didn't like that tackle on Robson, and I'm not surprised. Curry, having lost the ball from one player, stretching for one he really hadn't got a chance of getting, and Clive Thomas talking to him, and indeed the referee is going to send Curry off. Curry going into the trainer's bench. So Sheffield United, the 1st Division side, a goal up, but now down to 10 men. But he did, and on his own, Trevor Hockey now picking it up, number 6. Sheffield United still pushing men forward. Jeff Salmons. The goalkeeper covering the post, but he didn't in fact touch it. So away we go on the second half. And if Peterborough can get an early goal, the 10-men Sheffield United team could be in some trouble. Here's Hockey. Getting round Park, winning a corner. And Woodward coming over to take it. It was from a corner that Sheffield United scored their only goal so far. Billy Dearden is in there. Nice header by Billy Dearden, and that goal could make all the difference, coming 3 minutes into the second half. And Sheffield United now have some breathing space. A 2-goal advantage in spite of the fact that they've only got 10 men. They can now play it pretty tight and let Peterborough come at them. Woodward again. Sheffield United content to play it around. Here's Billy Dearden, and that could well be a penalty. Clive Thomas coming up and pointing to the spot. A penalty has been given against Chris Turner, and Alan Woodward, if he's fit enough, will certainly take it himself. Woodward has already scored 1 goal against Notts County, and now makes it 2, and 3-0 now against Peterborough. Goalkeeper really had no chance. Woodward, one of the best penalty takers in the business. Something of the gathering gloom in the closing stages of this match. Stuart Scullion. 4 is Jack Carmichael. Ted Hemsley going forward. He's been looking for a goal for the last 2 or 3 minutes, and he gets one. A fine right foot shot, but really the work done by his left foot in jinking in and out between 3 men. Ted Hemsley puts it beyond any possible doubt. 4-0, a conclusive victory by a 10-men side. The First Division certain to be represented now in the Whatney Cup final. Over to Turf Moor for the second semi-final. Bristol Rovers arrive in confident mood. The relaxed Rick Shepherd, the goalkeeper, signs an autograph before going into the ground ahead of centre-forward Sandy Allen and midfield man Wayne Jones. Supporters are mainly in claret and blue scarves of Burnley, but 1 or 2 have made the journey up from Bristol as well. The Football League is well represented. Sam Bolton on the right, the Vice President, and the League Secretary Alan Hardacre in jocular mood. 1 step to the final, but Bristol will be no pushovers. That's how the local evening paper sees it, as Burnley precede their 3rd Division opponents onto the luscious green turf of Turf Moor. Can Bristol do to their 2nd Division opponents away from home what they did to the 1st Division team from Wolves at home? That's the question as Brian Godfrey leads them out, Bristol now wearing white shirts and dark shorts. Stevenson, the Burnley goalkeeper, being given some practice, and you can see what a beautiful pitch this is at this Lancashire club. '11 is Leighton James. Surprise is the absence of David Thomas from the Burnley side. The Bristol Rovers, not surprisingly, are unchanged, sticking to the side that scored 2 against Wolves. Bristol Rovers get the match away, attacking the goal to our left. Stevens, Sandy Allen, beaten by Dobson. This is Ingham. Referee is Ted Wallace, who works for the British Railways at Crewe. Michael Doherty's free kick. Colin Waldron trying to get up. Taylor taking no chances, conceding the corner. Bannister, number 12. Not a particularly good one, but a missed kick and a save on the line by Lindsay Parsons from his own fullback. Bannister doing a lot of chasing. This is Wayne Jones. Stevens to his right. In comes Stevens. Driven across, blocked by Worth Waldron, and then Doherty who put it over the top. Burnley under some pressure. Stevenson again on the receiving end. He just got a touch to tip it over the bar. Applauded by Michael Doherty, Tommy's son. I think Brian Godfrey, the skipper, very happy with Bristol's start. Mike Green, number 4. Sandy Allen. Moving for the return ball, playing it off nicely too. And Prince coming up, number 6, right in the corner. Beautiful move by Bristol Rovers. Prince, who was in at the start of it, Sandy Allen, who did a lot of running up front to take the return ball and lay it off to Frankie Prince, moving in on the blind side of the defence, and a really good left foot shot found the corner. 25 minutes now of this first half gone. Burnley a goal down. Ingham waiting in the centre. Sheffield taking no chances, putting it over the angle. Wearing a very natty cap this evening. Sheffield again coming for it. Good punch, a very good punch off the head of Thompson. Goal kick. So away we go on the second half. The Bristol Rovers leading by a goal to nothing, scored by Prince at the 15th minute of the match. Wayne Jones and Alan West, who's come on as a substitute. Stevens and Bannister. Stevens really getting in between Newton and Thompson there, and Bannister who knocks it in. So with only 3 minutes of this second half gone, the third division side take a 2-0 lead. And that now asks an awful lot of a young Burnley side. They may be in the second division, but they're a pretty young side, and Bannister delighted about the whole thing. Scored 1 against Wolves from the penalty spot, and now 1 against Burnley. West, number 13. Wayne Jones. Floodlights forming a nice picture at Turf Moor, looking at it then from Sheffield's point of view. Typical of the challenge of Sandy Allen. Still Keith Newton fouled there, but he gets away with it. There's Newton again, number 3. Prince. They really are going at it hammer and tongs at the moment. Away by Taylor. Rovers coming away with it again. Big Larry Taylor, number 5. 6 is Prince. And it's all over. Rovers have got through to the Whatney Cup final. There's Frankie Prince, who scored the first goal. The second coming from Bannister after only 3 minutes of the second half. And the third division side have done it again and go through to the Whatney Cup final, where they will meet First Division Sheffield United on their own ground at the Eastfield Stadium.
So Rovers had done it then, that fine 2-0 win at Eastfield against Wolverhampton Wanderers, and then to Turf Moor, and again Rovers winning by 2-0. That fine Frankie Prince strike, and let's not take no credit away from Lindsay Parsons with that incredible goal line clearance. So the scene was set then. Rovers were to be at Eastfield, the home game against Sheffield United, and we've been lucky enough to be given by Dick Shepherd, or lent rather, this tremendous scrapbook here. And basically I can just give you some of the 2 or 3 little comments that came from the press cuttings just before the game. One of them comes from Don Megson, quite an interesting one. It says, the danger men in the Sheffield front line are winger Alan Woodward and striker Bill Dearden. Megson considers that United made the best buys ever when they picked up Dearden for only £10,000 from Crewe. And he then goes on to say that this is a better buy than Liverpool's £35,000 for Kevin Keegan from Scunthorpe, he says. That's one to ponder on there from Don Megson. And then we can look at another quote made in here. Beer money can reach £15,000. Victory in today's final could boost Bristol Rovers' Whatney Cup earnings to £15,000, says Rovers secretary Peter Terry. Goodness me, how times have changed. So then, on to the final. The best part of the video, in my opinion. The final at Eastfield. Tremendous weather for the game, parachutes landing in the centre circle, tremendous lead-up music. Enjoy the action, it's the best part. To Eastfield Stadium then now, and Barry Davis.
Eastfield Stadium at Bristol, bathed in sunshine on a lovely August afternoon for this third final of the Whatney Cup between Bristol Rovers of the 3rd Division and Sheffield United of the 1st. Each side hoping to succeed Derby County and Colchester United as winners of the trophy there in focus. And here come the teams. Sheffield United on the left, led out by their manager John Harris. John Megson leading Bristol Rovers. United in the stripes, Bristol Rovers in the blue shirts and white shorts. The players getting a very good hand from what looks like a very big crowd. Trevor Hockey, number 6 there, looking skywards for the Red Devils, the Parachute Regiment's free fall unit, who are bringing in the match ball. 3 members of the team, Major Peter Schofield, Sergeant Lewington and Corporal Harmon. They free fall until the last 2,000 feet, and they're trying to land in the centre circle of the pitch here at the Eastfield Stadium. Trying, did I say? That's the first one down. Getting a good hand from Bristol Rovers supporters there. The players joining in the applause as the members of the free fall unit de-rig. There is Major Schofield. And if the football is as practiced as that, there'll be no complaints here at this stadium this afternoon. There is the match ball, and what goes with it for the winners. John Megson leading the applause. Bruce Bannister giving us a nice wink, and being presented now to the chairman of the Sports Council, Dr. Roger Bannister, who's accompanied by officials of the Football League and of Whatney's. Being introduced first to the Bristol Rovers side, Rick Shepherd, the goalkeeper. There is Bruce Bannister. They're not related, or you might think that they were from the way they greeted each other. Eleven there, the skipper, Godfrey. And now the manager of Sheffield United, John Harris, and the skipper, Eddie Cahoon, introducing his side to Roger Bannister. Of course, the first man to run a mile in under 4 minutes. Billy Dearden, Tony Curry, Jeff Salmons, Stuart Scullion, a very good season after coming from Watford. Alan Woodward there, getting a few extra words from Dr. Bannister. One youngster wanting to get into the act as we look now at the Sheffield United team, who've come here to this final having beaten Notts County 3-0 and Peterborough 4-0, with Alan Woodward scoring 2 goals and perhaps his best from the first match against Notts County, with the move building up and Woodward letting fly from all of 25 yards. Bristol Rovers also yet to concede a goal. They beat Wolverhampton Wanderers on this ground 2-0, and Burnley at Turf Moor also 2-0. And there the first goal of that match scored by Frankie Prince from a move that he started himself. A beautiful run on the blind side to take the return ball and hit home right into the corner, giving the goalkeeper no earthly chance at all. Bristol Rovers unchanged for the 3rd time. Sheffield United with Steve Goulding continuing in the absence of Len Badger. The referee is John Yates of Redditch in Worcestershire. Tony Curry in the act, allowed to play in this match, although he will begin a 3-match suspension after it as a result of being sent off in the semi-final against Peterborough. Always a nervous start to any cup final. Here's Roberts. Trevor Hockey, with 2 matches now back on the road to fitness. Stevens going outside Hemsley. The first shot of the match, and Tom McAllister making sure that the near side was covered. Tony Curry. Salmons. Taking on Roberts and losing out to him. Rick Shepherd wearing his cap, finding Wayne Jones. Bit of poetry in motion involving Prince and Curry. Slight hesitation there in the Sheffield United defence. Looked as though Cahoon could clear that one. The job of a goalkeeper from a set piece. McAllister coming well, getting his hands behind the ball, but having to go at a second attempt. Any slight loss of the ball would be collected by Bristol, but he held on tight. At a left foot. Alan Woodward. 11 is Scullion. Big corner. Lindsay Parsons just saving it. Godfrey back to help, but they're not getting it away very well. Scullion. A strong challenge by Prince. And again by Jones. Stevens for Bristol Rovers. Hockey and Bannister. Billy Dearden worming his way through. Parsons who beat him in the end, and a free kick has been given. Wayne Jones having a few words with the referee about it. Chance perhaps for Alan Woodward to try and blast through that wall. Tony Curry, in fact, running over it. Woodward did try to get through, but the bricks held. Salmons. Hemsley. Eddie Cahoon up on attack. It's a good-looking cross to Woodward on the end, but just a bit too long. Rick Shepherd placing the ball for the goal kick. Roberts. Sandy Allen just couldn't make it. Stuart Scullion. Number 11, one of the few wingers around these days. Here's Curry. Woodward. Well reached by Rick Shepherd. Did very well to get that over Dearden. Bench probably approved of that. And Shepherd lost his cap, but he got the ball. For the free kick to Bristol Rovers. 4 men in the wall. Wayne Jones, number 8. Godfrey lurking just to the left. Godfrey shot, and a great save by McAllister. The expense of a corner, but he really did well. McAllister again, he'd come for it. Still in play. Allen. Stevens. Bristol Rovers beginning to turn the screw a little bit. And another good save by young McAllister from Bannister. Third division side definitely on the up and up. And United have won that appeal. Wayne Jones. Determination all over his face. Salmons with the free kick. Curry. Body all behind it by Dick Shepherd. Stevens. Bannister with Hemsley. And the free kick given, but which way? No, it hasn't been given. But it will be now for sure against Ted Hemsley. Referee having a quick word with Hemsley. Been playing cricket for Worcestershire during the summer. Bill Roberts will take it. Stevens header. Woodward. Trying pretty hard to beat himself as he stepped on it. McAllister looking a bit anxious, trying to wave more cover to his left. And it showed why. A fine save by the goalkeeper. It started to move the other way. The weight was on the wrong foot. Trevor Hockey, a real battler in the middle of the park. Sadly missed when he broke his leg. Look at that tight control. Holding off his man a bit too. Prince trying to cover him, and he's playing for the 1-2. And he gets it, but Stevens is there as well. And they're both having a little go at each other, and the referee doesn't like it too much. And in fact, I think Kenny Stevens is going to be booked. Maybe even both players. Referee trying to sort it out. Trevor Hockey appears to be pleading on behalf of Stevens, but there's not very much ill feeling there. It was just something that happened in the heat of the moment. Woodward. Taylor's header. Prince. Couple of tackles there that looked arguable. Here's Stevens. Getting nicely through the gap. Salmons did well to come back to concede the corner. Crowd certainly enjoying this performance by Bristol Rovers. They're giving every bit as good as they get. Off the line there by Goulding. Roberts. Stevens playing it close to the line, getting it away with it. Roberts. That's no problem for McAllister. That's a bit of a push there by Green. Prince. Roberts sending Bristol forward on another attack, but it's cut off at its start by the referee, Mr. Yates, who brings the half to an end. A half of a lot of a goal attacking by Bristol Rovers, but which ends 0-0. One or two youngsters down at the front of the crowd, and really they've had their full money's worth in that 45 minutes. No goals, but mainly that was due to the goalkeeping, particularly of McAllister. Sheffield United now defending the goal to our left as we get away on the second half. Mackenzie to Hockey. Quite a battle in midfield between Hockey and Prince. Dearden waiting in the middle, and a corner given. Woodward will take it. Shepherd doing very well to punch that off Curry's head. It's a lot more difficult than it looked, that save by the goalkeeper. Stevens. Taking on Hemsley. He's been very prepared to do that. Double cover there in this half. Well claimed by McAllister. Really hasn't put a hand wrong. Concentration from players watching and crowd watching. Free kick to Sheffield United. Curry and Woodward again. Little chip from Curry. Beautifully picked up by Sheffield. The way these two goalkeepers are playing, they heap up problems for themselves later in a penalty competition. Curry, headed away by Parsons. Wants somebody square. Woodward. Dearden waiting. And again, finally taken out of the air by Rick Sheffield. Goalkeeping has been of an exceptionally high standard. Another good save and a good recovery. Came off the post and pushed away by McAllister. Scullion. Looking for Woodward, number 7. Curry in the inside right position. Dearden a bit further over. 3 men back to cover. Curry's shot and Taylor concedes the corner. Rick Sheffield telling him to calm down a little bit. And he knows about his job all right. Sandy Allen, who's worked and worked and worked without ever finding too much room. Stevens. Wayne Jones. Not really enough to trouble McAllister. Pace beginning to tell a little bit. Curry and Godfrey there. Woodward. Back again from Curry. It's a chance for Woodward. Beautifully robbed. Mike Green who got across. And Curry was just a couple of hairs away from knocking that one in. Roberts passing Dearden. Sandy Allen. Once more the goalkeeper with body all behind the ball. And shooting now from some distance. And if it goes on, they're going to be shooting from 12 yards. Curry. Godfrey who bit a little bit. Dearden wanting a bit more height on the cross. Stuart Scullion. Allen. Wayne Jones for the pass and return. Good covering by Cahoon and it hurt him. Taylor's come up on the near post. Steve Goulding there, number 2. And McAllister just getting there. Another corner. Ted Hemsley on the far post, the fullback. Goal kick. Time beginning to run out. Still 0-0 in a lot of endeavour and mainly because of a lot of good goalkeeping. Sheffield again, confident and sure. Godfrey wanting a foul, and in fact it's not a foul, it's the final whistle. 0-0 and a penalty competition it will be. Having fought so hard for 90 minutes in the sun, they've got to start all over again. Hockey going to talk there to his rival skipper, Godfrey. And now to Mike Green. Curry. Really asking an awful lot of these players, and in particular of the goalkeepers who've done so well. Tony Curry had his moments in the match and in the tournament as a whole. And the spirit really has been very good. Tom McAllister changing his tabs. Really could feel that he'd done enough to earn his side victory. Or in particular to deny the other side victory. So the toss as to who goes first, which could well be vital. Cahoon after a very successful summer tour with Scotland. In Brazil that was, and the first penalty to be taken for Bristol Rovers by Roberts. Roberts against McAllister. 1-0 to Rovers. No chance for McAllister. Woodward, one apiece. And Sheffield rather hurt his hand as he went down for that. McAllister waiting again. Godfrey takes aim, and again the goalkeeper goes the wrong way. Rovers 2-1 up. And next will be Keith Eddy, signed from Watford this week, and with his first shot he scores. (3-2). Green's penalty. Tony Curry next to go. Referee not quite happy with the position of the ball. Quite a bit of whistling going on. Shepard, who mustn't move. And it's great save by Shepard. But no, the referee wants it taken again. Shepard, adjudged to have moved. He appeals to the crowd, but the referee's verdict is that Curry will take it again. Have a look at that penalty to see whether the referee was right. Did Shepard move? No doubt about it. So Curry gets the second bite. Linesman making absolutely sure. Curry taking no mistake with the second chance. 3 apiece. Go up to 5 penalties each side. Bruce Bannister scored from the spot against Wolves. Rovers in front again, and McAllister has gone the wrong way every time so far. But he didn't. And they're going home and through now. 4-4. Sandy Allen with the job of taking Bristol Rovers' last penalty of the set 5. It's still equal after each has taken 5. They go on until one side leads with the same number of penalties taken. Canister, who did so well in the match, but has guessed wrong every time so far on the penalties. He really is just thinking too much about it. Look at the dejection on his face. 5-4, and the Sheffield skipper Eddie Cahoon with the job of keeping his side in the match. And Shepard very nearly got to that with his top hand, but 5-all it is, so on we go. Parsons, 6-5, the Canister flat-footed. One or two of the players can't watch. Stuart Scullion, 6-all. And now Bryn Jones, one of the most popular players ever to wear a Rovers shirt. And even without a run back, no trouble. Hemsley, and he saved it, Shepard. The referee looks, no, he didn't move. Bristol Rovers have won the Whatney Cup. And Ted Hemsley wishes the ground would open up underneath him. The crowd pouring onto the pitch. Here they come from all sides, the youngsters and some of them not quite so young, to applaud a cup victory by Bristol Rovers, who, let's face it, haven't won this cup only from the penalty competition, but in the way they have played in the 3 matches, against Wolves at home, up at Burnley, and today against Sheffield United, giving a First Division side every bit as good as they've received. And Rick Shepard, undoubtedly the hero of the moment. There's Brian Godfrey, John Nixon, the manager, coming on to congratulate his skipper. What a start for him. And Rick Shepard being carried shoulder high around the ground. thought he'd done it just a few moments before, but was adjudged to have moved, and in the end he did do it. And if Dr. Roger Bannister can present the cup in amongst all that crowd, he'll do very well indeed. There it is, that's what they've been fighting for, and space made for the presentation. The half-pint mugs going to the losers. There's poor Ted Hemsley, Steve Goulding, Alan Woodward, a few words from Roger Bannister. Keith Eddy and the substitutes, Gil Rees with the moustache. And Bristol Rovers waiting to receive the cup. There's Frankie Prince, who had to go off injured. And Brian Godfrey receives the Whatney Cup from Roger Bannister. The 1972 winners come from the 3rd Division, but they really have given a 1st Division performance here this afternoon. That's what the crowd think about it. And the police having a full-time job keeping the crowd back. There's Bobby Campbell, a kiss for Roger Bannister from Sandy Allen. Frankie Prince. Kenny Stevens there. Lindsay Parsons, number 3. Number 5, Stuart Taylor. Rick Shepherd. Tremendous scenes here at the Eastfield ground. Sort of scenes really that does one's heart good, and one of the beauties of this competition that it can really set a side up even before the season starts. Derby County, of course, won it 2 years ago and then went on to win the championship last season. Colchester United won it last year, and now Bristol Rovers. What I wonder is in store for them in the coming season. The players trying to do a lap of honour, and the crowd going with them. Just look at that pitch. You can't even see the players, but they're in there somewhere. There they are. Kenny Stevens is the player with his hands round the cup. The Whatney Cup final of 1972 may not have had the goals of last year when Colchester won it, but certainly it had the excitement. And in the end, the drama of a penalty competition. And away goes the Whatney Cup into the safekeeping of Bristol Rovers for another year.
Dick Shepherd, the undoubted hero on the day then in that 7-6 win on penalties against Sheffield United. And what a day it turned out to be, one of the greatest in the history of Eastfield Stadium. Well, we were lucky enough to track down Dick Shepherd, and I asked him about his Whatney Cup thoughts, and they all started, in fact, on a Spanish vacation in 1972.
Yeah, I was on a Spanish beach at the time when I first of all found out they were playing Wolves in the first round of the Cup. And it's rather ironic, really, because the 3 teams that we played against, i.e. Wolves, Burnley and Sheffield United, in the final, I never really had happy memories of in my First Division days, because I didn't play too well against them. The results never went too well for West Brom. So it was with a bit sort of apprehension I was thinking Wolves first leg, you know, it's going to be a hard game. And it was quite good, really, because I was really surprised how easy we found it, to be honest. I think, to be honest, Phil Parks, who played for Wolves in goal at the time, if it hadn't been for him, we could have won the game a downside easier than we actually did.
Now, on the video, or the film as we should say, Barry Davis does talk quite amazingly about this goal from Kenny Stevens. It was an absolute cracker, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, storming goal. It was ironic, really, because Kenny didn't score too many goals.
That's right, he wasn't renowned for it, was he?
No, too true. But, I mean, this was one to savour, it really was. The same as Frankie Prince's against Burnley. I mean, it was a superb goal. I think, in fact, it was either 3rd goal of the season, 3rd best goal of the season, because it was on Match of the Day for quite a while afterwards.
That's right, it actually won a place on the 101
That's right.
Great Goals video. I don't know if you've seen that, Dick.
Yeah.
Now, talking about the game at Burnley, it was talked about on the film that it was a quite outstanding surface up at Turf Moor. Had you had much experience of playing on that ground before?
Yeah, I played at Turf Moor on 2 or 3 occasions, and to be honest, it was the first time I played it against Burnley when you can call it a pitch, because the other times I played at Turf Moor, it had been a bit of a quagmire, and the results didn't go too well for me, so albeit I forgot them games very quickly. But it was a beautiful surface to play on it.
Right, now talking of the Whatney Cup, It was, at the time, a very prestigious competition, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
It was televised coverage throughout from the early rounds. Did this create, would you say, a lot of local interest from your point of view, you know, with regards to neighbours and friends, because of this sort of widespread coverage the competition had?
Yeah, too true. It's exactly the same as when the League Cup first came into operation. It was classified as a non-existent cup, albeit then the Football League turned around and said that it would be a passport into Europe, so therefore the interest came on strong. But it was exactly the same as everybody had watched it because you're sort of starved of soccer in the summer. And then this is the first sort of major competition at a very early stage of the season, so I know a lot of friends and a lot of neighbours were very interested to find out, you know, whether or not it was going to be, how we were going to get on, and there was a great deal of interest in it. I think, to be honest, I mean, it was a stage where there wasn't a lot of first division soccer in football. The city hadn't been promoted at the time. I suppose the closest you would have to go to actually see first division soccer was either the Midlands, or I don't think Cardiff were actually in the first division then. So it was a great opportunity for the locals to be able to actually go to their local ground and see first division opposition.
And then, of course, Dick, it was the final in front of 20,000 people at Eastville on the hottest day of the year.
Yeah, it was absolutely beautiful. I mean, we couldn't have stage managed the whole thing. It was, as you said earlier on, it was a beautiful day. The Red Devils came and dropped the ball in, and literally the guy landed right on the centre spot and put the ball down. It was superb. I mean, there was, you know, 99.9% of all the supporters there were Rovers supporters or Bristol supporters. Let's put it that way. And to be fair, I mean, it was fair play to Whatney. So they ran a very good competition. It was beautifully done, and I'm glad to say that we didn't let you know, spoil it by losing or anything silly like that. You know, the result was perfect.
And the penalty incident. Watching the film again, Dick, you made that good save, apparently good save from Tony Curry. Now, looking at the video again, it only seems as if you slightly moved, and the referee said no way, the penalty was retaken. And when Tony had the second chance, he converted on that occasion. Mm-hmm. But of course, when you faced Ted Hemsley, that was when your glory came.
Yeah, true. It's strange, really, because even now, I bump into people, or people speak to me and they say, or remember, and all they say is Whatney Cup, Whatney Cup. Yeah. My claim to fame, Whatney Cup. Yeah, but I mean, it's strange, really, because as you said earlier on about the penalties, Yates, who was the referee at that occasion, I'd played under him quite a few times, and he'd always been a very fair referee. But on reflection, as you mentioned earlier on, you see goalkeepers now, they're literally dancing all over the goal line. Referees, I think, looking for a bit of consistency from it. If the goalkeeper moves, it should be either retaken, or if he saves it, disallowed, because after all, the forward should have the priority because it's been a foul against him.
Yeah. Great days that at Eastfield, Dick. What did you think of the beer? Whatney's Red Barrel, were you into it or not?
I wasn't a great beer drinker then, would you believe? I've certainly made up for it since. But the situation now, I mean, I was never prone to beer. It was only, I used to drink lager at one time until people used to say, I'm not buying you lager, it's too expensive, so then they'd buy me beer. So I'd say, okay, I'll have a beer instead. But yeah, it was a nice beer. It was a nice beer.
Dick Shepherd reliving some fine memories there of that Whatney Cup success. So from one ex-Rovers star to another, Frankie Prince is the man I caught up with in Winterbourne, going back a couple of weeks or so, and of course he got Rovers on the way with that fine first goal at Turf Moor. I asked him what he was doing with his career at the present moment.
Very well, thanks. I've been here since May now, and I'm a football and community officer, and the job's going really, really well.
Now, it's a very nice part of the country to live down there. How do you feel since you've been sort of dragged away from Bristol?
We're really settled there. When I left Eastfield, I went to Exeter City. I had 2 years there, and we've actually settled there now very well. Yeah.
Now, talking yesterday, Frank, about just before yesterday's game, you were talking about some of your old Eastfield friends you meet down that way. Now, what sort of careers have they taken up now?
Well, I occasionally see Phil Roberts. He's knocking about in a village called Wimple. Mike Green's living in Torquay. He's running the post office in Chilwell Valley. I often see Mike as well. I keep in touch with Tony Pulis, who is now obviously Bournemouth manager, and I've spoken to Wayne Jones recently as well.
So there's still that old connection is still about. Now, what we'll talk about now then, Frank, is this Whatney Cup video. Now, we were lucky enough to get hold of this film. an hour of it altogether, the road to the Whatney Cup final as well. Now, what are your memories of that? First of all, if we start with that game against Wolves at Eastfield, that 2-0 win, it all started from there, progressed on, and then your big day was that match at Burnley, wasn't it?
Yes, the Burnley result I remember obviously because I featured in the BBC 101 Great Goals video. The goal gave me a lot of satisfaction, and it was a well-worked goal, and I was really pleased with it.
Now, of course, to complete that win, to make it 2-0, Bruce Bannister managed to nip in and get one as well. Now, what are your memories from Bruce? He came to the club, it was before Alan Warboys had joined the Rovers, and things really started to happen then for the club, didn't it?
That's right, Bruce came, and then Alan was signed from Cardiff, and they struck a really good partnership, and obviously we went on then to win promotion that season.
Yeah. Now, you also mentioned Wayne Jones. Now, Wayne, looking at the whole hour of that film, he crops up many times with his skill. He was a gifted player, wasn't he?
Oh, Wayne's a very gifted player. I'd probably think him and Harold John are probably the two most gifted players Rovers have ever had.
Yeah. Now, Lindsay as well. That first game against Wolves, a 2-0 win. Lindsay, of course, playing at fullback, Lindsay Parsons, stuck at it against First Division opposition, against Wolves. Another fine player.
Yes, as you just said, the actual cut run was against 3 First Division sides, very good sides as well. And Lindsay was a solid player, and very few wings got past him.
Right. Now, going on to the final then, Frank. Big day at Eastfield, 20,000 people there, of course, 20-odd years ago now. Does it seem that long?
It doesn't, but now you remind me, 20 years is a long time. I have mixed feelings of the final, obviously. I was really delighted to be in it, but coming off with a few minutes to go with a broken toe sort of soured it a bit. But it was a great result, and a great result for the club, yeah.
Now, there was that amazing tussle all the way through the game at Eastfield with Trevor Hockey. Trevor, unfortunately, has now passed away, but what a fine game he had on the day, Frank.
Yeah, it was a tough match. I mean, Trevor Hockey was a renowned sort of tough tackler. He's a very good player, and it's very sad that he's gone now, yes.
And you had some involvement, you were saying earlier on, in the 70 World Cup. Is that right, to do with the Welsh squad?
I was in the Welsh squad at the time. It was a 74 World Cup, but I was in the actually preliminary rounds with when we were in the same group with England, and I actually got into the squad, and I didn't actually get on, so I didn't actually win a cap, but I was in the squad for the Cardiff match.
Right. Okay then, Frank, hope you enjoy the video when we have time to piece it all together, and you can see your great involvement in this Whatney Cup run. Brilliant.
Thanks very much.
Thank you very much there, Frankie Prince and Dick Shepherd, and it's time now to wind up this Whatney Cup special video. And an ideal time to thank Stan Westwood, our technical editor, Derek Seger for additional camera work, Whatney's film crew for their superb coverage of the competition's events from the early stages right up to the final at Eastfield, and to club historian Mike J. From me, Andy Warren, it's a very good evening.
And away goes the Whatney Cup into the safekeeping of Bristol Rovers for another year.